The rain fell in heavy sheets, drumming against the roof of Marcus Tate's old pickup truck as he navigated the winding roads of Crestwood, Alabama. It was 9:17 p.m. and Marcus, a 35-year-old Army veteran, was bone-tired after a 12-hour shift at the warehouse where he worked as a forklift operator. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, not because of the storm, but because Crestwood's drivers were unpredictable in weather like this. Marcus had seen worse dust storms in Iraq, flash floods during his second tour, but he'd learned to stay cautious. His dashboard glowed faintly, the check engine light flickering like it had for months. He'd meant to fix it, but between work, helping his sister Janny with her kids, and saving for a new place, time slipped away. Marcus wasn't thinking about the light when red and blue flashes lit up his rearview mirror. His stomach tightened, but he kept his breathing steady. Just stay calm, he muttered, a mantra from his military days. He signaled, eased onto the shoulder near a shuttered diner, and cut the engine. The rain roared louder without the truck's hum. Marcus flicked on the dome light, placed both hands on the wheel at 10 and 2, and waited. His concealed carry permit was in his wallet, his registered pistol locked in a small safe under the passenger seat. He'd declared it at every stop. Since getting it 2 years ago, no surprises, no problems. Two officers approached, their silhouettes blurred by the rain. The driver's side officer, broad-shouldered with a buzz cut, tapped the window. Marcus rolled it down, rain splattering his arm. "Evening, sir," the officer said, his voice flat. The badge read SKD, Daniel Holt. His partner, younger and weary, stood at the passenger side, flashlight beam cutting through the cab. Officer Kyle Brennan, his badge read, license, registration, proof of insurance. Holt said double quotes yes. "Sir," Marcus replied, his tone even. "License is in my wallet, back pocket. Registration and insurance are in the glove box. I'm gonna reach for them, okay?" Holt nodded, but his hand rested near his holster. Marcus moved deliberately, retrieving his wallet first. Brennan's flashlight stayed on his face, bright enough to make him squint. "Glove box now," Marcus said, leaning slightly. "Just so you know, I have a concealed carry permit. My firearm's locked in a safe under the passenger seat, not touching it." Holt's eyes narrowed. "Where's the gun exactly?" Marcus kept one hand visible, under the seat, in a locked box. "Keys in my pocket, not reaching for it." Brennan stepped closer, his light darting to the floor. "Keep your hands where I can see them," he snapped. Marcus froze, sensing the shift in tone. "I'm doing what you asked, sir," he said, his voice steady but firm. Holt leaned in. "Open the glove box. Slow." Marcus reached for the latch, but Brennan shouted, "He's moving too fast," before Marcus could respond. A deafening crack split the air. Pain seared his left shoulder as he slammed back against the seat. Instinct kicked in, years of training, muscle memory from combat. His right hand dropped to the safe, fumbling for the key. Another shot grazed the dashboard. Marcus unlocked the box, grabbed the pistol, and fired 2 rounds low, toward the ground outside the truck. Not aiming to hit. "I'm not a threat," he yelled, dropping the gun onto the seat. "I'm hit. I'm not moving." Holt ducked behind the door, shouting into his radio. Brennan crouched, gun drawn. Marcus raised his empty hands, blood soaking his jacket. "I told you where it was," he gasped. The rain mixed with the blood pooling on the floorboard. Headlights flashed as another cruiser screeched to a stop. Marcus's vision blurred, but he kept his hands up, praying this wouldn't be his last night. The scene on Old Mill Road was a kaleidoscope of chaos, flashing lights, shouting voices, and the relentless rain. Marcus lay slumped in his truck, his left arm useless, pain radiating from his shoulder. Blood dripped onto the seat, mixing with rainwater. His pistol lay where he'd dropped it, untouched since his defensive shots. Officers swarmed the area, their boots splashing through puddles. Holt and Brennan stood near their cruiser, Holt barking orders while Brennan's face was pale. His gun still drawn, a young officer, Officer Lena Carter, approached the truck, her flashlight sweeping the interior. "He's injured," she called. "Out." Weapons on the seat, not in his hands. She glanced at Marcus, her expression softening for a split second. "Sir, can you hear me?" Stay still, Marcus nodded weakly. I told them. I wasn't reaching for it. He rasped. Carter's eyes flicked to the open glove box, where his registration and insurance papers lay scattered. Soaked. Holt stormed. Over. He fired at us. Cuff him. Carter hesitated. He's bleeding out, Sarge. We need medics first. Holt's jaw clenched, but he didn't argue. An ambulance wailed in the distance, its lights cutting through the storm. Bystanders gathered across the street, phones raised, recording. A woman in a yellow raincoat. Ms. Evelyn Harris, a retired teacher, shouted, I saw it, y'all shot. Before he even opened that box, Holt ignored her, but Carter glanced her way, noting the crowd. The EMTs arrived, led by a no-nonsense paramedic named Jamal Reed. We're taking him now, Reed said, assessing Marcus's wound. Bullet went through, but he's losing blood. They lifted Marcus onto a stretcher, his hands cuffed despite Reed's protests. He's not going anywhere, Reed muttered. As they loaded him into the ambulance, Marcus caught Carter's eye. I didn't mean to shoot, he whispered. I just reacted. Carter didn't respond, but her silence felt different from Holt's. Back at the scene, Detective Sarah Nguyen arrived, her trench coat soaked. She surveyed the truck, the bullet holes, the casings. Walk me through it, she told Holt. He recounted the stop, claiming Marcus reached for the gun despite warnings. Brennan nodded, but his voice wavered. Nguyen crouched by the truck, noting the safe's position and the untouched papers. He declared the weapon up front. She asked. Holt shrugged. Didn't matter. He moved too fast. Nguyen turned to the crowd. Anyone see the start of this? Ms. Harris stepped forward, her voice steady. I was at the diner, waiting for my son. Heard him say he had a gun locked up. They shot before he even touched that box. A teenager, Devin, held up his phone. Got it on video. Want it? Nguyen nodded, taking his contact info. The crowd murmured, their anger palpable but restrained. In the ambulance, Marcus fought to stay conscious. Reed worked quickly, stabilizing the wound. You're gonna make it, Reed said. Marcus's phone buzzed in his pocket. Janny, probably worried. He couldn't answer. His mind replayed the stop, the light in his face, the sudden shot, his own reflex. He'd never fired his gun outside a range since leaving the army. Now he was cuffed, bleeding, and headed to a hospital under arrest. At Crestwood General, Marcus was rushed to the ER. A nurse, Clara, cut away his jacket, revealing the wound. Clean through. She said, You're lucky. Marcus didn't feel lucky. An officer stood guard at the door, reading him his rights. Aggravated assault on a peace officer. Marcus's voice was hoarse. I didn't attack them. They shot first. The officer didn't respond. Jenny burst into the waiting room, her eyes red. Where's my brother? She demanded. Nguyen met her, explaining Marcus was stable but in custody. He's no criminal, Jenny said. He's a veteran. Works 2 jobs, takes care of my kids. Why'd they shoot him? Nguyen's face was unreadable. We're investigating. He fired back. Ms. Tate. Janae's voice rose. Because they shot him. He was defending himself, outside. The story spread like wildfire. News vans lined the hospital street. Social media posts showed Marcus's army photo dress uniform, medals, proud smile next to hashtags like #Justice for Marcus. But others called him a cop shooter, dangerous. Jenny saw the posts and felt sick. Marcus wasn't a hashtag. He was her brother, the one who'd rebuilt her life after she left an abusive marriage. Now he was fighting for his. 3 days later, Marcus lay in a hospital bed, his shoulder bandaged, his wrists still cuffed to the rail. The pain had dulled, but the weight of the charges, aggravated assault, attempted murder of an officer, pressed heavier. He hadn't seen Janny since the year. Visitors were restricted. The TV in his room played muted news, his face flashing alongside Holt and Brennan's. The narrative was splitting. Hero, veteran, or reckless gunman. Marcus stared at the ceiling, replaying the stop, wondering where he'd gone wrong. Detective Nguyen visited, her notepad in hand. Tell me your side, she said. Marcus recounted every detail, declaring the gun, moving slowly, the sudden shot. I fired low, at the ground, he said. I didn't want to hurt them, just wanted Them to stop, Nguyen wrote silently, then left. Marcus didn't know if she believed him, but her questions felt fairer than Holt's accusations. Outside, the community rallied. Ms. Harris organized a vigil at the diner, drawing dozens despite the rain. Devon's video went viral, showing Marcus's calm declaration and the officer's rapid escalation. Jenny spoke at the vigil, her voice breaking. "My brother's not perfect, but he's no threat. He served this country, and now he's chained to a bed for surviving." The twist came on day 4, when Nguyen uncovered new evidence. A dashcam from a nearby delivery truck, parked at the diner, captured the stop from a different angle. It showed Marcus's hands on the wheel, his slow movements, and Holt firing first, unprovoked. Brennan's shot followed, then Marcus's defensive rounds into the dirt. The audio caught Marcus shouting, "I'm not a threat." Nguyen presented the footage to the DA, who ordered a review of the charges. But the real turning point was Marcus's own heroism, revealed by a bystander's account. Ms. Harris's son, Tyrell, a mechanic, had been in the diner's lot, working on a car, when the shooting started. A stray bullet from Brennan's gun ricocheted toward a gas pump where a young girl stood. Frozen, Marcus, despite his wound, had leaned out of his truck and shouted, "Get down," pulling Tyrell's attention to the girl. Tyrell tackled her to safety just as the bullet sparked against the pump. Without Marcus's warning, the outcome could have been catastrophic. Tyrell's statement, corroborated by others, shifted the narrative. News outlets ran with it. Wounded veteran saves child. During police shooting, the DA dropped the attempted murder charge, though assault remained pending. Holt and Brennan were placed on leave, their actions under scrutiny. The community's outrage grew, but so did their hope. Marcus wasn't just a victim, he was a hero. Jenny finally saw Marcus. On day 5, she hugged him, tears falling. "You saved that girl," she whispered. Marcus shook his head. "I just yelled. Anyone would have." But Jenny gripped his hand. "Not anyone. You." She told him about the vigil, the video, the support. Marcus listened, stunned. He'd felt alone, but Crestwood was fighting for him. Nguyen returned with news. The DA was considering dismissing all charges if the investigation cleared Marcus. "The dashcam helps," she said. "So does Tyrell's story." Marcus exhaled, hope flickering. But he knew the road ahead wasn't clear. The officers' union was pushing back, and public opinion was still divided. He needed to heal, physically and otherwise, and prepare for what came next. That night, Marcus dreamed of Iraq, not the violence, but the quiet moments with his squad, laughing over MREs. He woke with a resolve he hadn't felt since the stop. He wasn't just surviving. He was fighting for his name, his family, his future. The rain outside had stopped, and moonlight filtered through the window. A small promise of clearer days. 6 months later, Marcus stood on the steps of Crestwood's community center, a microphone in his hand. His shoulders still ached on rainy days, but he was stronger, his physical therapy complete. The charges had been dropped after Nguyen's investigation confirmed his account. Holt and Brennan faced disciplinary hearings, with Holt resigning and Brennan reassigned. The department implemented new training on de-escalation, partly due to community pressure led by Ms. Harris and Janney. Marcus's story had inspired Crestwood. The vigil grew into a movement, with residents advocating for police reform and support for veterans. Marcus, initially reluctant, became a voice for change. He spoke at schools, churches, and town halls, sharing his story not with anger, but with purpose. "I didn't choose that night," he'd say, "but I choose what I do. Now, we all can." He'd started a non-profit, Veterans Haven, to help vets like him, Black, working class, often misunderstood, navigate life after service. Jenny ran the admin side, her kids helping with flyers. Tyrell, the mechanic, volunteered, teaching job skills. Ms. Harris baked for fundraisers, her diner now a hub for meetings. Even Officer Carter, who'd questioned Holt's actions, joined as a liaison, bridging the gap between police and community. Today's event was the grand opening of Veterans Heaven's first office, a small space filled with donated furniture and hope. The crowd included Devon, now interning with a local news station, and Nguyen, who'd become an ally. Marcus looked out, his heart full. 6 months ago, I thought my life was over, he said. I was bleeding, cuffed, alone. But I wasn't. Alone. Y'all showed up for me, for justice, for each other. He paused, thinking of the girl he'd saved, now safe with her family. We all get stopped sometimes by fear, by pain, by someone else's mistake. But we don't stay stopped. We rise, we rebuild, we keep going. The crowd cheered, their applause echoing through Crestwood streets. After the speech, Janny hugged him. Proud of you, big brother. Marcus smiled. Couldn't do it without you. They walked inside, where kids from the neighborhood were already playing board games in the rec room. Marcus saw a future here not just for him, but for them. That night, he drove home in his fixed-up truck, the check engine light finally off. The stars were bright, no rain in sight. He thought of the stop, the shots, the cuffs, but also the vigil, the video, the girl's smile when she thanked him. He'd been tested, nearly broken, but he'd come through, not alone, but with a community that refused to let him fall. Marcus Tate wasn't just a veteran or a survivor. He was a leader, a brother, a hero, and as he pulled into his driveway, he knew one thing for sure: no storm could stop him now.